Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give folks just a moment or two to join us. So, thank you all for being here. All righty, let's get rolling. Welcome, as I said, to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please take a moment and introduce yourself in the chat. We love to see where folks are coming in from around the country. You want to share your first name and the city and state you're joining us from. We'd love to see where folks are coming from. Bring us that good energy. Thank you, everyone. And for folks that don't know, my name is Lori Woodward Garcia. I have the honor of being the leader of People Power United. You're probably wondering, if you've never been here before, who is People Power United? Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment. I want to take a moment and acknowledge our members who were expecting to find us on Zoom this evening. We value Zoom. It's a wonderful place to connect with our members face to face. But the reality is we've outgrown it. And as much as we love that format, we simply do not have the thousands of dollars required to host a Zoom gathering. As a grassroots organization, we do zero fundraising. We had no choice but to shift over to YouTube. I apologize to everyone for the change, but I hope that you will see this as a sign of our growth and our movement towards progress, people power, and freedom over fascism. I also want to address the concern we've had from a few members about time zones. This event may have been posted in Eastern Time, as many of our events are, but with members in all 50 states, sometimes we cannot post in multiple time zones, again, because we are a grassroots organization. I just ask all of our members double check any events that we post for your time zone. We simply just do not have the capacity to create and manage hundreds of versions of the same event across different time zones and cities. And here's a pro tip. If you're wondering, just typing into Google, what time is, for example, 6:30 p.m. Eastern in my time zone. I want to thank you for your understanding, your patience, and your commitment to a growing movement. So if you're new here, you're probably wondering, who is People Power United? We are a grassroots powerhouse with over 250,000 members in all 50 states, powered by people. Our mission is clear. We champion progress and returning power back to the people. And here's what sets us apart. We do zero fundraising. We're not going to bombard our members with a ton of emails asking for donations, because we believe in the power of the people. We don't chase donations or ask for money. It's all about action. And why we don't just talk about what's wrong, there's a lot of people and organizations to do that. We organize, mobilize, and make change happen. We're not folks sitting on the sidelines complaining. I'm really proud of that. We have members coast to coast. We stand together to defend our rights, our freedoms, democracy, and rule of law. And we believe in the possibility of change, and we do the work to make that happen. Again, no paywalls, no gatekeeping, just people power. Our resources will always stay free and accessible, because we believe this movement needs to be open to everyone. If you are able to support us as a free or paid subscriber, thank you. Your help continues to help us make this work accessible for our members. Thank you. As I mentioned, we do zero fundraising here at People Power United. We don't have a fancy communications team or a big budget operation. We rely on word of mouth. And we use tools that are free or low cost to stay connected to members of our community. If you are receiving multiple messages from us, thank you. It means you are a valued supporter who follows us on multiple platforms. And thank you for staying engaged. If you want to follow us, there are two ways to plug into our work. One is to subscribe to our events and communications list. And the second is to subscribe to our daily updates on Substack, our newsletter. And while we do zero fundraising, your support on social media makes a huge difference. Your likes, comments, hearts, shares, and follows help our outreach. We need more messengers, so every time you see us, just give us a heart or a comment or a share. It makes a tremendous difference. You can visit our website, peoplepowerunited.org, to find those links to subscribe to either the Substack newsletter or, as I said, to our events and communications list.
This Good Trouble lives on. Honoring John Lewis and building People Power Space is built for everyone, whether you're just joining the movement or have years of experience organizing. Some participants may be new here, while others are ready to lead actions or engage in civil disobedience. Both are essential to building people power. We ask that you honor where others are on their journey. If you're feeling like this space is moving too slowly or not fast enough, this may not be the right room for you, and that's okay. Our goal is to create a welcoming, empowering environment that helps everyone grow, connect, and take meaningful action toward progress and justice. Let's build a movement that lifts up every voice and meets people where they are,
Today, we honor the life and legacy of Congressman John Lewis, not with silence, but with action. He taught us that democracy is not a state, it is an act, that the vote is precious, that when we see injustice, we must stand up, speak out, and get into good trouble. Today, we reflect, but we also rise. This is not just a tribute, it's a call to organize, mobilize, and push forward. Let's begin by hearing directly from John Lewis, in his own voice sending us a message of hope and inspiration directly to each and every one of us.
And the progress we made in laying down the burden of race. Some of you may ask, how did I get involved in the civil rights movement? How did I meet Martin Luther King Jr. when I finished high school in May of 1957? 17 years old. I wanted to attend a little college 10 miles from my home called Troy State College, now known as Troy University. Submitted my application, my high school transcript. I never heard a word from the college. So I wrote a letter to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., told him I needed his help. Dr. King wrote me back and sent me a round-trip Greyhound bus ticket and invited me to come to Montgomery to meet with him. I went off to school in Nashville. An uncle of mine gave me a $100 bill, more money than I ever had. Gave me a Foot Locker. Ain't you old enough to remember the big Foot Locker? That trunk that opened up wide, then you can bring it back together. Had the hangers that you put your clothes in. Had the drawers that you can put something in. I put everything that I own, except those chickens, in that Foot Locker, and took a Greyhound bus to Nashville, Tennessee. And after being in Nashville for about 3 weeks, I told one of my teachers that I've been in contact with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This teacher knew Martin Luther King Jr. They both had studied together at Morehouse College in Atlanta. So he informed Dr. King that I was in Nashville. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. got back in touch and suggested when I went home for spring break to come and see him. On a Saturday morning in March of 1958, I was about 18 years old. My father drove me to the Greyhound bus station. I boarded a bus and traveled at 50 miles from Troy to Montgomery. Arrived in Montgomery and a young African-American lawyer, never seen a lawyer before, never met a lawyer before, but a young man by the name of Fred Gray, who was played in the movie Selma. Been a lawyer for Rosa Parks, for Dr. King, and became our lawyer during the Freedom Rides and during the march from Selma to Montgomery. Met me and drove me to the First Baptist Church in downtown Montgomery, pastored by the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, a colleague of Dr. King, and ushered me into the pastor's study. I saw Martin Luther King Jr. and Reverend Ralph Abernathy standing behind a desk. I was so scared. I didn't know what to say or what to do. And Dr. King said, "Are you the boy from Troy? Are you John Lewis?" And I said, "Dr. King, I am John Robert Lewis." And he started calling me the boy from Troy. I went back home that afternoon and had a discussion with my mother and my father about what Dr. King had to say, that if we pursued my interest in attending Troy State, non-Troy University, we may have to sue the school, the State Board of Education, that our home could be bombed, could be burned, we may lose the land. My mother and my father were so afraid. So I continued to study in Nashville, and I tell you, it all worked out. In Nashville, a group of us as young people, as students, from Fisk University, Tennessee State, Meharry Medical College, from Vanderbilt University, Peabody College, some high school students, came together and started attending nonviolent workshops conducted by a young man by the name of Jim Lawson, a young man who was part of the Methodist student movement, who had lived in India and studied the way of peace, the way of love, the way of nonviolence. We had role playing, we had social drama. And every Tuesday night, we became imbued with the way of peace, with the way of love, with the way of nonviolence. And many of us started accepting the way of nonviolence as a way of life, as a way of living. And then we started sitting in. You'd be sitting there in an orderly, peaceful, nonviolent fashion, waiting to be served. And someone would come up and spit on you, or put a lighted cigarette out in your hair, or down your back, pour hot water, hot coffee, or hot chocolate on us, pull us off the lunch counter stools, and you look just straight ahead. Members of the media would come by and say, "Are you part of this group? Are you one of the leaders?" And most of us would say, "I am just one of the participants." In late February 1960, I just turned 20 years old. We heard that if we go down on a particular day, on a particular Saturday, it was a possibility of being arrested. When you look at photographs of my involvement, even during the attempted march from Selma to Montgomery on March 7, 1965, for the most part, I always had a tie and a suit on. I heard we were going to be arrested, we were going to go to jail, so I wanted to have something that looked good on. I didn't have much money, so I went to a used men's store and bought a suit. It was a used suit. Some of the guys here are old enough to remember. It was a Barton 500. You know anything about that? No, you don't. It's too young. I paid $5 for this suit, and I looked good in that suit. Really good. One of my staffer, Andrew Iden, who's a co-author, standing there, he discovered a photograph of me in that suit on the front page of the Nashville Tennessean. And he said if I still had the suit, I probably would sell it on eBay. I probably would. I probably would. But I got arrested, and the first time I was arrested on February 27, 1960, I felt liberated. I felt like I crossed over. So I said to myself, arrest us, jail us, beat us, what else can you do? And we started singing, I'm not afraid of your jail. And later on we started singing, oh, Wallace, you never can jail us all. And then we went on something called a Freedom Ride. Just think in 1961, the same year that President Barack Obama was born, 1961, black people and white people couldn't leave Washington, D.C. Seated together on a Greyhound bus or a Trailway bus, traveling into Virginia, into North Carolina, through South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. We were on our way to New Orleans to test a decision of the United States Supreme Court. My first trip to Washington, May 1st, 1961, to be trained to go on a Freedom Ride. 13 of us, 7 African American and 6 whites. The night of May 3rd, 1961, we went to a little restaurant not too far from the nation's capital to have a meal. Now, growing up in rural Alabama, attending school in Nashville, Tennessee, I'd never been to a Chinese restaurant before. Never had Chinese food before. It was a wonderful meal, delicious meal. Some of the women may understand, some of you young ladies may understand, and maybe some of the guys. They had what they call, I guess, the lazy Susan, with the covered dishes, and you just turn it around in here, silver dishes. It was wonderful. And someone said, as you eat, remember, this may be like the Last Supper. The next day, May 4th, we boarded a Greyhound bus and some boarded a Trailway bus, leaving Washington, D.C. as an integrated group. The first real incident occurred in a little town called Rock Hill, South Carolina, about 35 miles from Charlotte, North Carolina. When my seatmate, the two of us tried to enter a so-called white waiting room. My seatmate was a young white gentleman. And members of the Klan attacked us and left us lying in a pool of blood. The local police officials came up and wanted to know whether we wanted to press charges. We said no, we come with peace and love and nonviolence. They left us bloody. The Freedom Rides continued. Many years later, and I remember this happened in May 1961. In February rather, 2009, one of the members of the Klan who had beat us came to my Washington office. He heard through a reporter that I was there, came with his son. His son was in his 40s, he was in his 70s. He said, Mr. Lewis, I'm one of the people that attacked you and your seatmate. I want to apologize. Will you forgive me? I said, yes, I accept your apology. Yes, I forgive you. He started crying. The son started crying. They hugged me. I hugged them back, and I started crying. And I saw the gentleman 3 other times. That is the power of the way of peace, the power of the way of love, the power of the way of nonviolence, to be reconciled. In the final analysis, we are one people. We're one family. We all live in the same house, not just American house, but the world house. I must tell you tonight that in spite of 40 arrests, jailings, been beaten and left not only bloody in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but at the Greyhound bus station in Montgomery, where I was hit in the head by a member of an angry mob with a wooden Coca-Cola crate. I'm still hopeful, still optimistic. And I said to you here tonight, March, book 1, book 2 is saying in effect that we must never, ever give up. We must never, ever give in. We must never get lost in a sea of despair. We must keep the faith. In spite of being arrested and going to jail 40 times during the 60s and been arrested 5 times since I've been in the Congress, I'm not going to turn back. And you must not turn back. You must not give up. You must not give in. We can create the beloved community here in America. This city, this state is known for leading the way. I think if Dr. King could see you tonight, see this audience, he would say you're building the beloved community. And you must continue to spread the good news, the way of love, the way of peace, the way of nonviolence. I'm going to leave some time for Andrew Iden, but I do want to tell you a little story. Just think, almost 50 years ago, when I had all of my hair and a few pounds lighter, 25 years old. All across the South, people of color could not register to vote. People had to pass a so-called literacy test. Count the number of bubbles in a bar of soap. Count the number of jelly beans in a jar. Standing in unmovable lines. A state like the state of Mississippi, next door to my native state of Alabama, had a voting age, a black voting age population of more than 450,000, and only about 16,000 blacks are registered to vote. One county in Alabama, Lowndes County, between Selma and Montgomery, the county was more than 80% African American, but there was not a single registered African American voter in the county. In Selma and in Dallas County, there were more than 15,000 blacks of voting age, and only 159 were registered to vote. We had to act. Some people said, why Selma? Why Mississippi? The state selected herself. The city of Selma selected herself. We went there. People were tired, people were weary of being beaten, being jailed, couldn't cast a vote, couldn't even register to vote. I've always said that the vote is precious, almost sacred. It's the most powerful non-violent instrument or tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it. On March 7, 1960.
And here in this community, we will never stay silent in the face of hate or bigotry. We stand up and speak out against racism, xenophobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, homophobia, misogyny, sexism, ageism, ableism, sizeism, elitism, transphobia, misogynoir, and every form of discrimination that seeks to divide and harm.
My dear brothers and sisters, I know we are here to celebrate, to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the passage of the American with Disability Act. We made a lot of progress. We've come a distance, but we still have a distance to go. So I said to you, you must never ever give up or give in or give out. You must hold on to your dreams and keep pushing, keep speaking up, keep speaking out, and find a way to get in the way of getting good trouble, necessary trouble. That's what I did many years ago, 50 years ago. We marched across that bridge in Selma. And that's what we did 25 years ago when we cast that vote. I was so pleased. I know what it is to be disabled. I grew up with a deaf brother who taught me a great deal. So none of us, not one of us, not any of us must be left out or left behind. I will continue to stand and fight for what is right and fair and just. Thank you very much. Have a great celebration.
There is no power like that of the people, and People Power United stands ready to protect our communities against any and all injustices. People Power United champions progress and power to the people. We are a group of people who believe in the possibility of change and work every day to make it happen. Join us as a volunteer and help us to advocate for dignity and justice for all, and that everyone who is eligible can vote freely and without fear.
As someone who participated in the voting rights movement, as someone who gave a little blood on the bridge in Selma, Alabama, almost 50 years ago, for the right to vote, for the right to participate in the democratic process, I do not believe that a would-be voter should show an ID to avoid fraud. We don't have a great deal of fraud in the political process in America. We need to open up the process and let everybody come in. Make it easy and simple. To be able to vote should be like getting a glass of water. One person, one vote.
Thanks for joining us. I am going to leave you with our People Power United video to inspire you to rise up.
It don't storm through the front door, it creeps in slow, wearing a mask of tradition wrapped up like a flag on show. It whispers order, obedience, trust me, you're free, but every step is a chain on you and a crown for the enemy. They chip away at the edges, erase the lines in the sand, till you wake up one morning with no rights left in your hand. But I see through the silence, I hear the cracks in the floor, and I know we've got the power, we're not waiting anymore. History's a warning, written bold in blood and pain. When good hearts fall silent, the tyrant's straight or plain. Power to the people, let the people rise. We rise, raise your voices louder, light up the sky. They want our silence, but we bring the storm. Let's fight for the future, for freedom, for all. Power to the people, we rise, with fire in our hearts and the truth in our eyes. They came for the others, thought we'd look away, but a threat to one of us is a threat to all today. The lessons carved in stone, from Berlin to DC, it's the courage of the many that always sets us free. From the streets of Selma truth in our eyes. Rise to the people. We rise, we rise.
In this community, we will always take action and speak out against racism, xenophobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, homophobia, misogyny, sexism, ageism, ableism, sizeism, elitism, transphobia, misogynoir, and bigotry in all its forms. We are a group of people who believe in the possibility of change and work every day to make it happen. Join us by showing up to events to champion progress and power to the people. Together we can build a community where everyone feels safe, supported, and free to thrive. Join us at peoplepowerunited.org.
Thanks for being here. For those who came in late, we'll be starting the replay in just 2 minutes.